Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So a friend of mine, Nisi, she lives in New York. I met her when I myself lived in New York. I lived in New York for like 2 years. New York is supposed to be a blue state. Now, Zephyr Teachout, she's a law professor and an activist. She had a video that my friend put up. And she's making this point of, yes, technically New York is a blue state, but Democrats often side with Republicans to get things done. Let's take a look at her video. Because, look, she says it better than I can in this case. I find this to be an interesting point because most people make this assumption that, well, I mean, New York is a blue state. It lives. They were able to put in, I can't think of this gentleman's name. The guy who was somewhat of a socialist, de Blasio. They were able to put in de Blasio. Yeah, but that's not the entirety of the New York state. This is Zephyr Teachout.
I'm going to talk to you about something that, if you don't know about already, should really upset you. You probably think of New York as a democratic state. We're a blue state. We stand up against Trump. We stand for democratic values. Not quite. That's because there are 9 state senators who are elected as Democrats in overwhelmingly Democratic districts, who, when they go to Albany, don't work with the Democrats, but work with the Republicans to block Democratic legislation. 8 of these 9 elected Democrats have formed a club they call the IDC, or Independent Democratic Conference. It's kind of Orwellian because they're not democratic. And one of them is Simcha Felder. He kind of works on his own and he works with Republicans. But collectively, we have then 9 Democrats, elected as Democrats, who are not caucusing with the Democrats. They benefit because they get more power, more perks, more staff because of choosing to work with the Republicans. And what that means is that Republicans control the New York State Senate. It's like they're wearing the D shirt when they're in district and the R shirt when they're in Albany. Oh, and by the way, when they come back to their district, hold a town hall, they say, I'm a Democrat. Then they go back to Albany, they work with the Republicans. It is so outrageous what is happening, and especially outrageous given what is happening on the national level with Donald Trump. So we are living in a time where the federal government is threatening to take away the most basic protections. So New York State should be standing up as the opposite of Trumpism. But just look at what New York State was not able to do last year because of these 9 elected Democrats acting like Republicans. There's more energy and excitement around stopping the IDC than there ever has been. You can go to a website called noidcny.org. That's noidcny.org. And find out whether your senator is somebody who is pretending to be a Democrat while actually working with the Republicans in Albany. You can talk to your friends, you can join protests, and in the next few years, we can have not only a Democratic Assembly, but a Democratic Senate standing up for our democratic values.
Dinos. She's talking about Dinos. Democrats in name only. Here's the thing. I would disagree with her. I think they are Democrats. I think what we call Democrats in this country are pretty much right-wingers. That's what I think. I think those Democrats, for the most part, get cash, and yeah, like she said, perks and everything else, to do those particular things and lie to their constituents. But that's all over. That's Democrats in general. And that poses somewhat of a philosophical, not even a philosophical, practical issue. If you don't vote for the Democrat, who are you going to vote for? Meaning, are you going to have the balls to let that guy fail and lose until you finally get a candidate who's going to represent your interests? That's your question. That's your question. We have a 2-party system, unfortunately. People in this country, for whatever reason, can't see past themselves to go to a third party. Fair enough. But again, that comes with somewhat practical issue. That Dino, when that Dino is on the ballot, are you going to vote for that Dino if that Dino succeeds the primaries? If he succeeds the primaries, Are you going to vote for him? Are you going to say, yes, I want to vote for this guy, even though this guy is going to go and caucus with Republicans and essentially do things that I don't necessarily want him to do? Are you going to vote for the guy just because he's a Democrat? I've made the scorched earth point before. Let them fail. Let them fail. Until you get the person that you want, they need to fail. They need to fail over and over. They need to lose consistently again and again and again. The Democratic Party right now is having issue raising money. Good. Good. They should hurt. Donald Trump, in many respects, is in that office because of the Democratic Party, not living up to what the Democratic Party is supposed to live up to. Teachout is making a very particular point that these guys will go to their constituents, lie, and then go back and work with Republicans, doing those things that they told their constituents that they weren't doing and that they were standing up against. All of the Democrats do it to some degree. She's making a point that this is pretty heinous. They're actually working with Republicans. They're calling themselves these Democrats. Essentially, they should call themselves Republicans, but they don't want to do that. Good job, Zephyr Teachout. Again, I make this point of, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Lay there and bleed all day? Or are you going to take your vote in your hand and say, yes, I'm not giving it to anybody who doesn't represent my interests, regardless of what that person has on their name as a letter. Regardless. Good job. I like her video. And thank you, Nisi, for posting that. Alright, guys. If you enjoy the content, feel free to share, subscribe, but you can always support the work through Patreon. Thank you.